Hattie Shami from LEADTOOls. Hello, Hattie. Very good to have you today. You are a develop support manager with LEADTOOls, and you're here to help us understand using machine learning a bit more automatically to redact sensitive data, so important and one a capability that is often overlooked. Tell us a little bit more about redaction and automatic redaction using machine learning.
Okay, great. It's great to be here. Thank you guys for having me. So I work at Lead Technologies, and we develop a software toolkit called LEADTOOLS. And so we help enable developers of other applications to increase their workflow. And specifically, I'll be speaking on using machine learning with automatic redaction. And so part of our toolkit that we sell is a document viewer. You can view documents natively in this remote workspace. We're already moving towards it. And now that, with COVID-19 and everyone being remote, it's becoming more and more needed in the workplace to move away from paper and move towards paperless. And so viewing documents in your browser with your document management system has become very important. Being able to collaborate on those documents, annotate them, highlight, redact, and share those files is becoming more and more important every day. The document viewer interacts and integrates with all the popular document management systems like SharePoint, Google Drive, and FileNet, and has a minimal server footprint and can extract text from all the different various inputs that are available. And specifically, I'll be discussing a use case that one of our customers had. So they use FileNet for their document management system, and they had a lot of manual redaction processes going on. They would receive files from customers, such as loan statements, tax documents, and different things like that that had private information on it. And so part of their process was whenever a user requested the image to be stored on their machine, they had to have some sensitive data redacted every time. And so they were storing multiple versions of the same document, one unredacted and one redacted. And they needed a way to automatically do that. And so they reached out to us and went on a pilot program with us with our soon-to-be-released Document Analyzer. And so the Document Analyzer will be able to use machine learning to inspect the document and find various private information within that document and automatically redact it. So they switched over from Brava to our document viewer, and we were able to automatically integrate with the FileNet and all the documents that they have in there and redact that information from the documents. Part of our offering also is we have a proprietary OCR engine embedded within our viewer. And so it didn't matter what the input was. It could be scans, faxes, mobile images taken with your camera, or PDFs that were already searchable. We can work with all the different kinds and redact the data appropriately. So part of the document analyzer features are that you can have dynamic rule sets and to help enable what you're looking for, such as social security numbers, account numbers, tax IDs, and phone numbers. You can do various things once you find the locations. It's all dynamic, and so if you're searching for a social security number and you want to only redact, the first 6 numbers and leave the last few visible, or redact the whole thing, you have full control over all the different rule sets. It can be integrated into the viewer itself, and so as you're viewing the document, whenever your workflow is that they request to view the document, in your workflow you can have embedded the redaction process to redact it on view. You can have it on view to be fully unredacted, but only when they're trying to download a copy. It can be integrated into that back-end workflow. So when the conversion happens to download it, it can redact it dynamically without you having to store extra copies. And it doesn't have to be redaction. It can be any type of thing you want to use it for, such as highlighting. If you want to box certain things and highlight it, that's something else you could do with the document analyzer. And so some specific use cases for this that I want to just mention is in the legal space, with e-discovery. This could be very useful if you're searching for key phrases or words within a giant repository of documents. With banking and financing, users can request their personal documents, and without having to store multiple copies, you can save storage space and do it on the fly. And then even with logistics and transportation, such as onboarding and identifying, you could use the document analyzer to search for how old are they when you're scanning a driver's license. If you want to, automatically determine where that is without, having the person scan the license, do it, you can do it automatically with this kind of process. And so some of the next steps and recommendations are, evaluate your digital workflows. Are there any pain points that you're doing manually that you'd like to automate? This is something that you could use to do that. And we have many demos on our website. So, feel free to contact me and we can set up a demo of the functionality. You can come to our website and check it out and talk to me, and there's my contact information. So feel free to reach out to me and, we can talk.
That's Hadi Shami with LEADTOOls. Hadi, thank you so much for being with us today. What is the status of the Document Analyzer SDK release? Oh, did I lose you?
Something. I hear somebody else talking. Sorry.
Hadi, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. There's some cross. I hear someone else talking. I'm not sure who it is. What did you say? I didn't catch your.
I'm curious what the status of the SDK release is.
Okay. Right now it's in a beta program with the use case I mentioned. The pilot program has completed, and so it's going live in June. And so if anyone wants a beta copy, feel free to reach out to me and we can get you set up and working with that. But it'll be released in June. All
right. So it's coming soon. Can we get a pre-release copy then?
Yes. So feel free. There's my email. Reach out to me directly, and I can hook you up, and we can go through it.
Now, redaction is not the only thing that the SDK can do. Tell us a little bit more about some of the other features that are available.
So redaction is just one piece that you can do once you find the value that you're searching for. You can, if you're doing e-discovery, you want to store locations of where that some kind of phrase that you're looking up is. You can run the workflow and extract all the values and store that information. You can highlight. And our toolkit doesn't just do document viewing. We have OCR and forms processing and recognition and different things as well. That's kind of integrated within the viewer, and they all kind of talk together. And so it's kind of a one-stop shop.
And tell me a little bit about how it supports everyone working from home now.
Well, before this whole COVID thing happened, everyone was starting to move more towards paperless and trying to get rid of paper within the office. And then now that nobody's in the office, it's kind of accelerated that process. And so viewing documents in your browser without having to download it to your client's machine or integrating it directly within your file management system has become much more needed with everyone working remote.
And redaction, I think, is an important capability. Can you give us an example of one organization that used the redaction feature? How did they use it, and why was that important?
So the pilot program that we're going through with a banking customer, they're a large financial institution. They were processing like loan statements from their customers. So whenever a customer was viewing, they used our document viewer, and so whenever they were viewing the document in the document viewer, and then they tried to download it, they had to store a second copy. So they had the original copy with it unredacted for viewing, and then when they were downloading the copy, they couldn't download it unredacted, and so they were downloading the second copy, and that was starting to take up too much space within their database, and they were trying to save space and do it automatically because the whole process was manual. They had to have actual man hours working on it, which is time is money, and so they asked hey, is this something that we could automate? So that's kind of what sparked and started the whole process. And so now that they're using it, they eliminated all the manual hours of manually redacting all the files, and they're able to save space on storage without having to store multiple copies.
And tell me about e-discovery. I know information going in, information coming out. Sometimes you don't want certain bits of information. It needs to sort of be dynamic. Right. What are the applications for e-discovery?
So one of our customers uses that uses e-discovery. What they do is whenever there's a litigation going on and they're searching for the smoking gun within a giant repository of documents, they were doing that manually, and so they asked if there's something that we could do to help kind of accelerate the process. Maybe search through the thousands of documents and highlight 100 to go through instead of going through all 1,000, or getting it saving as much time as possible.
Have you ever worked with government clients, for example, automatic redaction of Freedom of Information Act restricted information?
Not yet. Or not personally, not yet. People can grab our SDK, and I never talk to them. But that's something that you can definitely be doing with our toolkit.
All right, that is Hadi Shami, Develop Support Manager for LEADTOOls. Hadi, thank you so much for being part of our event today.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Have a good one.